Hey, it's Alex King here. I'm a creative and marketing consultant based in Las Vegas, and in the different Facebook groups I'm a part of, like ThriveCart, ActiveCampaign, Kajabi, all that kind of stuff. I've been seeing people post about connecting ThriveCart to Kajabi in particular. Now, with my luck, just after I create and release this video, a native integration will become available. But until that time, I thought I would just take the time to show you how I've been using ThriveCart in conjunction with Kajabi, and as well as integrating ActiveCampaign in there. Now, some of you may not have that as a piece of your marketing stack, but I'll show you how this works out. This has been my go-to for 2020. Over the years, I've used so many different platforms, so many different stacks, everything from big custom bloated WordPress websites with WooCommerce as the checkout, and then some plugin to turn it into a marketing checkout. And then I migrated all of our customers over to Teachable, so I've had a big run with that. Also put them all onto Kartra as well, had a big run with that. And have finally arrived at this stack that I really, really love using. It's so efficient, stuff doesn't break, and it's very powerful as well. It's got the power of segmentation, which is, as you'll see as you go along in your marketing journey, segmentation and automation become really, really, really critical. And so ThriveCart, killer platform. Kajabi, amazing platform, innovating at the speed of light. And ActiveCampaign, which I've been a huge fan of for many, many years now, to the point where I decided to become a consultant for them. So had that in my back pocket, spoken at different events on stacks like this. And so I hope that you, if you're looking for a really good marketing stack and you are not a fan of ClickFunnels, because I'm not, and you just want good, reliable platforms and systems, this is going to be the video for you. I consider myself more of a creative and not much of a teacher, so bear with me on that, but I'll try and make this as fun and as effective as possible. So in this session, we're going to use, you probably already know a lot of this, and you probably already know the use case for this. And by the way, this is just going to be on YouTube. So if you look at the timestamps in the description below, you can skip ahead to different parts. If you're just here for the Kajabi piece, or you're just here for the ActiveCampaign piece, feel free to skip ahead. But if you want to learn as we go, you can just watch the whole thing. So we're going to use ThriveCart as the main checkout. And the reason that we do that is because I believe ThriveCart has one of the most effective systems for selling the product, as well as the bump offer, as well as the upsell, and as well as the downsell. We've seen really amazing results in our marketing campaigns when combining all of these, right? And I'll show you some real life, real dollar case studies in a second. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use Kajabi to grant access to the digital product. Now, I just prefer Kajabi these days over Teachable. I prefer it over Thinkific. Prefer it over Kartra. I prefer it over a big custom bloated marketing WordPress website. Been there, done that as well. Nightmare with plugins. And so Kajabi is just really effective. I also love that they have the Kajabi app now, which is fantastic. In fact, I find myself, even though I'm a WordPress pro and have built hundreds of websites with WordPress, when people ask me about creating sites these days, whether they want to hire me for it or just want to build it themselves, I feel hypocritical, but I'm literally telling people just go do it on Squarespace or go do it in Kajabi using their site builder if you're going to have online products. The WordPress ecosystem, like, I love it for certain use cases, but man, you start spending money on these plugins and updating them and breaking them, it's just an absolute nightmare. So I'm a big fan of SaaS platforms these days, and I used to not be that way. I used to love like piecing this plugin together and, oh, let me get like BuddyBoss and MemberPress and WooCommerce and all this kind of stuff. And I just don't do it anymore because inefficiency is so expensive. Like, if you think that Kajabi and paying whatever it is, $150 a month for that is expensive, you're dead wrong. Inefficiency is way more expensive, and so is annual renewals of plugins that you only use like for a small part of your marketing. So anyway, love Kajabi, love it as a delivery platform. It's only getting better, and the community is really, really great as well. And then the other piece of this puzzle where Kajabi actually does fall short, in my opinion, is marketing automation. Now, you may not need the level of sophistication that I'm going to be showing in this tutorial, but it's just a great thing to have. ActiveCampaign is really solid when it comes to marketing automation, emails, like pairing it with text messages, all that kind of stuff. Kajabi will do the basics for you, and I really love it for that reason too. But if you want to go beyond, definitely throw in ActiveCampaign. And by the way, as you may have guessed, I'm an affiliate for all of these platforms. I absolutely love sharing them with people. So if you're not signed up to any of these yet, you can check out my affiliate link in the description of this channel. That will really help the video. You can check out the links to the platforms in the description of the video. That will really help the channel. And I'm always happy to offer any sort of free advice if you go ahead and click those links. So Kajabi's kick-ass. ThriveCart, somehow it's still on a lifetime deal. I've got 2 accounts and we'll probably be snagging up a 3rd just in case. And ActiveCampaign as well, really, really solid. Next, this is how we're gonna do this. I'm probably repeating myself a little bit here, but we're gonna need ThriveCart, Kajabi, ActiveCampaign. The only other thing we're gonna need is Zapier. You can do some of this with Zapier, but honestly, if you're doing any kind of online marketing, Zapier is kind of a must-have. I use it in a lot of different ways. And as I just said, we're going to use ThriveCart as a checkout. ThriveCart's actually then going to send that information to ActiveCampaign. Okay, we're not going from ThriveCart to Kajabi. We're going ThriveCart to ActiveCampaign, then ActiveCampaign to Zapier, and then Zapier to Kajabi. Now, you may have seen, if you've researched some of this, that you can actually do webhooks, which is what we're going to do. And I know that sounds really intimidating. It's not. It's stupid easy. I'm not a coder or developer by any standard. And so you can, like, Kajabi can listen for webhooks and do that kind of thing. I prefer seeing the information being able to troubleshoot it with Zapier's interface. So I definitely think it's worth that investment. So let's jump out of this presentation. I'm going to use a case study here that, I encourage you, if you're a coach, consultant, maybe a creative of any kind, something I've seen really effective in 2020 has been low-cost offers. So driving Facebook ads to, instead of going to like a free opt-in and putting a bunch of people through that and then hoping, getting like a 1 or 2% conversion rate on your sales, I'm loving a high value item with a low ticket price, and that ticket price has been $37 in our experience for success. This particular product is for the hair industry. From what I've learned, they have some of the most interesting perspectives when it comes to spending money on things and managing money. So that's been a really interesting hurdle. However, as you can see here in ThriveCart on this dashboard, sales to date of this entire funnel have been $67,216. So let's see what that looks down from a breakdown point of view. The product itself, the thing that they think they're coming in for, and it's only ever had a $37 price point in this funnel, by the way. So it hasn't been $97, it's only ever been $37. There have been 1,211 orders at a 7% conversion rate, and that's from cold traffic, okay? Cold traffic, 1 Facebook ad, going to 1 checkout page, like straight to the checkout. So the other reason I love ThriveCart is because you can go straight to a checkout page. I'm not a big fan of long landing pages that sell the thing. I want sort of like impulse buyers with this particular marketing funnel, and it's been successful, in my opinion. So the conversion rate is there, and super low refunds and 1% refund rate, and a lot of those are actually just accidental duplicate purchases. So let's look at the bump. The bump is one of the most untapped things when it comes to most marketing. It's one of the easiest areas for improvement, and the bump has been responsible for $6,800. So if you're using, I don't know, most other checkout platforms that don't have a bump enabled on them, that is literally $6,800 that we wouldn't have brought in. And that's a 34% conversion rate. So almost 1 in 3 people that bought the thing took the bump offer as well. Pretty freaking cool to be able to see that. And by the way, one of the reasons that I wanted to show these actual numbers. I don't say it to brag at all, but I'm tired of watching marketing tutorials or even platform tutorials, stuff that I see on YouTube, and they're not showing their actual numbers. So all of their stuff and their stack, it all works in theory, but when you actually put money behind it, which we've done, spent a lot of money on ads this year, they don't have numbers to back it up. So I hope you can appreciate the real numbers that we're showing here. Upsells. We've had 2 upsells for the program. One has the first one's resulted in an extra $10,000 in revenue, and that's been I think it's a $97 upsell, and so the conversion rate on that is 9%, which is pretty killer. And then there's been another upsell. The second upsell hasn't been as successful, and we know why. We're going to change it out, but it's still brought in a good chunk of change. It's a much higher price program, and people that are just spending $37 and not necessarily thinking they're about to drop another 1,000 in one transaction. Another revelation that we only realized halfway through was downsells, and so this wasn't running the whole time. This was only running, probably after a couple months of the whole thing running, but it's been responsible for an extra $2,200 or so in revenue. So really, really loved adding the downsell. And again, ThriveCart just makes this whole thing so easy. So that is one product. Okay, that's one product, obviously with some bumps and some upsells. And what I really like about this, when you're testing a funnel like this, you want to switch out stuff pretty quickly, right? You want to be able to switch out, okay, well, that bump isn't working, so let's interchange it with this bump. That upsell is not working, so let's try this upsell instead. And ThriveCart makes that really, really easy with the funnel builder, and you can just literally pick and choose, and everything's done and everything works. So really, really loved that part of it. So with ThriveCart, when you set that up, what you want to do on the tail end of it is when you're editing the actual product itself, you probably already know this, but on your behavior tab, you want to have these in place, okay? So this is an on-cart abandon. You want them to do this. Basically, these are just ActiveCampaign tags, okay? So cart abandon, I just want abandon cart, social, the name of the product. On purchase, I want purchased, and then the name of the product. This is just adding them to a list. On a bump, I want purchased, the bump product, and then refunded, I want refunded, that particular product. Again, I haven't had a lot of refunds, so the refund thing hasn't been a big deal, but it's there if we need it. The next thing that happens is I'm a big fan of triggering automations from tags, okay? I trigger them from tags as opposed to lists, as opposed to, I don't know, any other action, is for this reason, right? Like sometimes I will sell, let's say, a $7 product. Sometimes I'll sell that as a main product, but sometimes I'll sell it as a bump. I need both of those products to assign the same tag inside of ActiveCampaign and therefore trigger the same automation and follow-up delivery of stuff there. And so that's why I apply tags when these things get purchased, not like lists. I don't like adding them to lists. So I want all of my purchase items to come from tags. If we jump over to ActiveCampaign and head to my contacts, you can see I try to stay fairly organized with all of this kind of thing, especially when it comes to tags. And so if we look under tags, you'll see, if I just search for the word purchased, you'll see all of these different purchases, purchase tags, right? Okay, and that is the main starting point. I want the checkout software, because let's say I changed my checkout software. Let's say something better came up. As long as it integrated with ActiveCampaign, I could just make it so that when that purchase happens, the tag gets applied and the automation triggers. Similarly, let's say I do a joint venture with someone. Let's say I just want to gift a bunch of people a product, and we've had to do that as well. All I have to do is assign the tag, and the follow-up is taken care of by the automation. So speaking of automations, let's jump into that. So if we head to the automations, And we had two, by the way, I don't like this recommended recipes thing. ActiveCampaign people, if you're watching this, I'm going to turn this off. I don't like that. Let's head to the actual product automation. So this is going to be what happens after they purchase that particular product. One other thing I like to do, you may have seen it here, is I like to use the little labels thing in ActiveCampaign. And so I'll do like, I'll group or I'll label all my purchase automations with purchased. I'll do my abandoned cart automations with abandoned cart, that kind of thing. So just a little tip there. All right, here's what happens. Here's what it looks like on the other side. This is the ActiveCampaign automation. And you can see that the only trigger here at the start is that tag that was being applied over an ActiveCampaign, okay? So that starts everything happening here. The first thing that happens is this webhook option. All this is doing is taking the customer information and essentially porting it over to Zapier. And I'll show you what that looks like. So all you need to do this is head to Zapier, and let's just do it from scratch. Let's build it together, just so you know. Because there are two different options here and they're kind of confusing. You could do this two different ways. I'm gonna, and they actually kind of don't matter, but just follow along and you're probably gonna feel a little more confident in what's going on. We're doing a webhook. This is getting triggered by a webhook. One of the things you'll notice, which is really stupid, is in ActiveCampaign, you can't trigger something with a tag. So you can trigger a zap with a link click, a list ad, that kind of thing, but you can't really do it with a tag. If you do it with this newer updated contact thing, I think you can do it with a tag there, but it doesn't know which contact is being tagged. So that's not the way to do it. What you want to do here is after you select ActiveCampaign as your app, and hopefully you've connected it all, I'm going to gloss over that, so forgive me. But just do new automation webhook. Now the other thing here is, remember I said you can do this two different ways. If you go back to, if you actually do Zapier automation webhook or wherever it is. Yeah, webhooks by Zapier. You can do it with that as well. It just seems a little more confusing to me. I like to, for my brain and knowing, if something does go wrong, what do I need to go look for? Just doing the ActiveCampaign thing is a lot safer and easier for me, but you can do it through that way as well. That's probably going to confuse you. So just do ActiveCampaign as your app, new automation webhook as your trigger. It's going to give you a URL, right? It's going to give you a link. Let's select my ActiveCampaign app or account. This is what you need. This webhook is what you need right here. And what this webhook is doing is it's just listening for information to be sent to it. It's kind of like a microphone that's always on, waiting for sound to hit it. And so all you need to do is copy this, and straight after your tag purchased thing, just hit the plus button, and then go to conditions and workflow, and then hit webhook. And then you want to paste that webhook in here, okay? And hit save. Now I'm not going to do it, but this is it right here, okay? This is the webhook for me. I'm going to have to blur some of that. So now that that is done, all you need to do is, I'm actually going to jump over to the webhook that's already created so you can see what comes after, okay? So let's jump back to my main Zapier dashboard. And let's find, what I like to do as well across all the different platforms, I sort of take that tag format, like purchased and then the name of the product, and then I like to have that as the name in ThriveCart, as the tag, as the automation, as the Zap and Zapier. So try to be consistent with your language there. My format and the thing that I set up for my clients is I'll do the action in all capitals. So like purchased in all caps, or abandoned cart in all caps, or refunded in all caps, and then the name of the product afterwards. So let's jump in to the actual Zap that is fulfilling the product here. And you can see it's just 2 steps. There's the new automation webhook and ActiveCampaign, and then we're going to grant the access to an offer in Kajabi. So again, connect your Kajabi account, connect your ActiveCampaign account, and your ThriveCart account to this. Here's the other thing. Okay, don't make this mistake. In Zapier, you can trigger things from ThriveCart. You don't want to do that in this use case. You can, but in my opinion, it's going to make things more difficult. The other reason that you don't want to do that is because remember I said sometimes I use a product as a core product, as an upsell, sometimes a downsell. If you do that and use the ThriveCart as the trigger in Zapier, it will screw that up because you will need to create that product as you'll just end up with lots and lots of different Zaps sort of unnecessarily. If you trigger the fulfillment of the product from the tag instead of from ThriveCart, I know this is getting complicated. If you do it from the tag instead of from ThriveCart, it's going to be a lot easier, and you're going to have a less bloated ThriveCart and Zapier dashboard. So just trust me on that. You may even be watching this video because that's what you've already done, and you're sort of trying to undo those mistakes. I get it. I've been there. So use ActiveCampaign and the webhook as the trigger and not ThriveCart as the trigger in Zapier. Very, very, very important. Probably one of the most important things in this video. By the way, people say Zapier. No, people say Zapier over Zapier. It's Zapier. Zap. It's called a Zap. And they had a little, I don't know if it's there on the website anymore, but they had a little like slogan down the bottom of the site that said Zapier makes you happier. And I guess that was them trying to tell people, no, this is how you pronounce it. But people get it wrong. People say Zapier and Zapier. It's Zapier. Okay, so let's just clear that up as well. Zapier. All right, so our second step is going to be granting the access to an offer in Kajabi. I've screwed this up as well. Not now, I fixed it obviously, but it's very easy to screw up. What you want to do is you're going to have Kajabi, and you want the action event to be grant access to an offer. Now, hopefully your offer is already created in your Kajabi dashboard. It actually doesn't matter what price point the offer is at in Kajabi. In fact, the way that we ran this funnel, the product is normally $97, but obviously the flash sale gets it at $37. So on Kajabi, not that we use Kajabi as a storefront, but if someone were to find that URL, it's $97, right? When you try to access it through Kajabi, if that makes sense. So the price doesn't matter. You don't have to match the price of ThriveCart with the price of Kajabi in any certain way for this to work. It can be whatever you want it to be in ThriveCart, and it can be whatever you want it to be in Kajabi. In Kajabi, obviously, I'd recommend having it be a higher price point, just in case someone does find that link like through your dashboard or through your site and you're using Kajabi's site. All right. Next up, we're going to choose the account. We've only got one. This is where it gets fun. So you want to hit the site when we're customizing this offer grant. You want to hit the site as your site. Most of you only have one. Then you want to link up the offer as well. And here's what you want to do, because essentially you're porting in information that webhook has captured, and you're going to put it like Zapier's got it as a big sheet of things, and you just take those elements and drop them in here as you please. So Kajabi doesn't do a separate first name and last name, and so under member name, you want to go ahead and click in here and just make sure the one that I found here, I've got 2 different contact first names as a result of this webhook. But just make sure you do the one that has these brackets or parentheses around it. And the other thing you want to do is have a little space in between these, okay? So you want first name, space, and then last name. That will get sent over to Kajabi. The next thing you want to do is do the email address. Pretty straightforward, just make it the email address. And again, make sure it's the one in brackets and parentheses. The external user ID is where I got screwed up initially. Every user in ActiveCampaign has a unique ID. And in fact, the tutorials tell you to use that unique ID in this field. I don't recommend it. I'm trying to think exactly of how that got screwed up and what went wrong, but it's got something to do with refunds. And when you try to refund it, it's trying to look up that ID. It's really, really annoying to do it that way. Oh, it's if someone like has entered their email wrong or wants to change their email, it gets kind of screwy. Instead, what you want to do is enter the email again for the user ID. Okay, so right there where it says external user ID, use the email field as well. That way, you have a direct connection from ActiveCampaign to Kajabi and back again. It's kind of synchronized. I do recommend keeping the send offer grant email checked, even though I'm also sending an email from ActiveCampaign saying, hey, congrats on your order. The way I like to do it is ActiveCampaign will send an email saying, hey, congrats on your order. Make sure you log in. And I just like say you'll receive a separate email with login details, and that's going to be the offer fulfillment email from Kajabi if you've got this set to yes. Honestly, that's all you do, and then you hit done editing. Then over in Kajabi, of course, these are all our lovely, beautiful branded products. Let's jump into the actual product here. And this is it. Remember, this offer that I have here is $97 instead of $37, even though it's selling for $37 over on ThriveCart. And that's pretty much how you do it. Now, there was this whole thing that I mentioned, and I don't recommend this at all, about webhooks inside of Kajabi. I just don't recommend it. I just don't recommend it. I tried it one time. I thought it would be more efficient. This whole thing right here. You can do it, but I'm not a coder. Maybe if you've got an in-house developer and you want it to be their headache, you can assign that to them, but I just wouldn't recommend it. Now, what you may see with ThriveCart and Zapier, this is really the only tech thing that I've seen get screwed up, is when people enter their email wrong. And it's like, you actually just can't do anything about that. There's other platforms, other checkout software, like I think ClickFunnels maybe has something that integrates with it, and they check that your email is legitimate, but generally it's just someone screwing up the typing of their email, and they say, I didn't get my thing, where's my thing? So that's really the only issue I've seen happen, or if someone, I don't know. But what I like about Zapier as well is that being able to see the errors in the task history is super, super powerful. Again, when you're pairing this, what you end up doing, of course, because we've got all of those different products, the bump, the upsell, all those kinds of things, the behavior in ThriveCart is to apply a tag. And so then in ActiveCampaign, you have all of your automations start with tags, and really you're just replicating this in Zapier across all of those different things. So you would have a separate automation for the bump offer with a separate Zap similar to this with a separate automation webhook going through. And so you want to have all of those things across all of your different products, because again, the advanced marketing comes in when you're testing different products, different price points, different combinations with each other as upsells, downsells, cross sells, all that kind of stuff. We're coming up on Black Friday soon, and we're going to bundle a lot of our products together. And so all I need to do is create a new product in ThriveCart, and then make sure that on the other end of that, the fulfillment for that product is set to apply all those purchase tags. Now, is the customer going to get like 5 different offer granted emails in their inbox when that happens? Yeah, they are, but I think that's okay. I would rather them have the certainty of like, hey, you got access to this, you got access to this, you got access to this. It's kind of a bit of a, like a reward as well, a value reward for them. So I'm fine with that. Sometimes it's trade-offs in marketing, right? Like you generally want to keep customer experience high, but I haven't had people really say, oh, and like this screwed up or whatever it might be, or I'm not happy with this. In ActiveCampaign, as you do this, one of the things that I've got set here is, and this is totally a separate video, or if you need some help with this, you can reach out for some consulting. But this particular automation is set up to capture or to upsell the people that didn't take the upsell, right? So what happens is when they enter this, almost immediately in another automation, if they didn't take the upsell, they're getting a 24-hour countdown for that upsell and then using goals to take them out of it. So very nerdy, very technical stuff. If you need that level of sophistication, feel free to reach out. But I know this has been a long video, but I thought it was really important to showcase this stack because I think it's very, very, very powerful. To be able to use ActiveCampaign with Twilio and their SMS marketing now is really, really awesome. As well as like things like Bonjoro. ActiveCampaign and Kajabi are pioneering so quickly in the right direction and in the right ways. ClickFunnels, Samcart, all those other platforms are just dead in the dust to me. They just cannot keep up, and their stuff is so clunky. And with ThriveCart, if you're a part of the ThriveCart community, you know how well Josh and his team do when it comes to pushing new releases, as well as their support. So the thing I love about ThriveCart in particular is when they do a batch of releases, it is just pretty much seamless. There's no bugs or issues or things that screw up your marketing. So really love that. Kudos to the team over there and any of the teams watching from ActiveCampaign, ThriveCart, or Kajabi, or Zapier for that matter. So I hope you found this video useful, even as a case study of what's possible with all of these different platforms. And if you need any extra help or consulting or coaching around your marketing platforms or integrating all of this, I have started taking some clients on again. I've sort of been off the grid building our personal brands for the last little while, but if you do need extra support and help, you can check out my website, alexkincreative.com. Reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever it might be, and we can have a conversation about what's going to be right for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. All the best. Speak soon.